Alright, so I have here, I'm going to bleed out my brakes because I'm basically going to change the lines to this stainless steel braided lines, which I have here. So let's actually look at this line real quick. So obviously it comes with the line here, and it comes with the banjo bolts and the banjo bolt washers. It looks like they gave me extra ones on this one too. Well, actually, let me see. Yeah, they gave me a few extra. All you need is 4, right? 2 for each banjo bolt, but it looks like they gave me 2, 4, 5, 6. So 2 extra ones. And these are little mounting, these little rubber things, the mounts thing along the line here. So basically, you put this rubber piece around the line, and where the bike itself will grab onto that mounting point. So there's, I believe there's 3. Yeah, there's 3 rubber things right here. And I believe there's 3 contact points on the bike itself too. There's one right here, one right here, another one up right over here somewhere. Let's see, right up there somewhere. Actually, it's down right here. See, you guys can see that right down in here. Okay, so anyways, I have to bleed the line out first, or the brake system out first. You don't have to do this, but it's a good idea you do, otherwise it's gonna make a mess, because when you take off the line, what banjo bolt is, if you have brake fluid in the line and in the reservoir, it would, it'll drip out a lot. So I'm gonna keep it as clean as possible. So that's the easy thing to do. Basically, just squeeze your brake lever. Actually, I don't want to use the open end wrench. I want to use the closed end wrench side. So actually, just flip this around like so. Put this in here. Okay, so squeeze the brake lever, hold the line. You see the bubbles, not the bubbles, but the fluid coming out. So this is a pretty new bike. Only has 300 and something miles, 350 maybe. So everything is pretty new. Brake fluid's new and fresh. Okay. Now the brake line is basically bottomed out. So it bottomed out, but just because the brake level bottoms out here doesn't mean there's no fluid. There's just no fluid in the reservoir anymore, but there's still fluid in the lines. You can't push it out basically. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna open up the reservoir here. I'm gonna open up the reservoir here. Maybe I should have done this earlier. Open up the reservoir here to let air into the line basically. So that way the air will push down the brake fluid. The reason why I didn't open this first is because when the brake fluid or the brake reservoir here is filled, what happens, what tends to happen is that when you squeeze the brake lever, it squirts up. It's like a little volcano, and it squirts up from this area, so it makes a big mess. Now it's on the vacuum. There it goes. Squeezed a little bit too much there, and it made that piece go on the vacuum. Okay, so you can see that it's empty. You can see that it's empty. So I'm just gonna pump it some more now. Put the air out. Leave this on here. I'll put this cap back on, just because just in case any fluid shoots back up, the cap will block the fluid from shooting up. Because this thing doesn't have a, well, actually it does have a little cover. You see the little metal tab. You see the hole on the bottom towards your right hand side, and you see on the left hand side there's a little thing that comes out that actually blocks the fluid from shooting up. But I usually leave this here just in case, anyways. Okay, let's see if we have any more fluid in there. We should have a little bit more fluid. I can always tell by looking at the level here. So squeeze, open up, and you can see it how the fluid. See that? See how it moved up right here? Even though my lever is completely bottomed out right now. That's because it's pushing air basically. That's what I want. each time I pump it, I hold it, open it up, close it, then let go of the lever. Just do a little bit of fluid in there. Each time I open it, you can see it moving up, or basically getting filled up. Okay, now it's air. Now you see air bubble coming up. That tells me it's just air bubbles now. It's a good thing. I mean, that basically means my brake line is full of air now, which that's what I wanted. So that way it doesn't make a big mess. Okay. From there you're done here. So carefully take this off. I'm actually gonna move this down so that way it drains down. I don't want to make a mess. That's why I'm doing this. Minimize the mess. Oh, I totally forget to get a rag. I need to go get a rag. I'll do that in a second. Let's do this. So I'm draining this brake fluid down as much as I can. So that way when I pop the end here, it doesn't have brake fluid all over the place. Okay, so that's the most I could move it. So you can see here now there's only a small little amount of brake fluid, about an inch worth, right in there. That's it. So when I move this, I'm gonna move it real fast so that way it doesn't get coolant, or excuse me, brake fluid. So that way it doesn't get brake fluid everywhere. So it's my dirty rag. It's actually all oily. I need to get rid of this rag. It's completely oily. Okay, let's see. Let's move this real fast. I need to get the camera out of my way. Otherwise, it's on my way there. So move it real quick, like so. Oh, a little bit dripping down. Okay, set the hose line aside, so it's out of my way. Okay, I want to get as much of this brake fluid off as I can, because brake fluid is it does eat paint. You know, it's corrosive. So it'll eat your paint away. So that's why I wanna beat it first before I actually put anything on. All right. So from there, the banjo bolt is 14 millimeters, so you could do both sides, one side and the other. Before I do that, I'm actually gonna loosen this bolt up so that way I could just take the whole entire line off in one movement, because I don't want to take this off then have to move here, otherwise it's going to drip all over down here and make a mess. So I'm going to take it off real quick all in one shot. So this is a 10 millimeter. Okay. Oops. So that's a little end cap nut. So basically I call this thing an acorn nut because it kind of looks like an acorn. Right? So I'm not sure if that's actual. I've heard other people call it acorn nut as well. I don't know if that's the actual the actual name of it. So I'm not sure if I'm reusing this thing or not. So we'll see. So that's off there. Now the little grommet thingamabob down right here, where there's a metal hook wire, you just push that off like so, right? And there's one more up on top that I need to do as well. So sorry for the weird angle because I'm on a little mini tripod. It's not very long. So push that out. Okay, so everything's out. That way I could just slip this thing through real fast once I unhook everything. So I'm actually gonna disconnect it from the top first, because if I do it from the bottom it might drip out. So from the top there shouldn't be any fluid here at all, so hopefully there should be any drip. Before I do that, I'll need to get a rag and put it right here so that way I can protect my paint just in case And this is a nice paint job. I don't want to mess it up, so I'm gonna cover this whole stuff with a rag. I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, so I just basically use a OT shirt, as you see. I always use OT shirts. Okay, so unscrew this. I don't think I actually need to see this, but I'm gonna pan up anyways, just because. Whoa! Whew. My whole lever housing here rotated. So that means this thing is on very tight. Oh, it rotated a little bit, like a few degrees. That's interesting. Rotated a couple degrees there. And the front, excuse me, the top banjo bolt. Oops, and then you saw the banjo bolt washer. So there's the banjo bolt. Wipe the fluid off of it. Well, you don't have to wipe it off of it, but it's a good idea just to clean it up a little bit. Again, brake fluid, it's kind of corrosive to the metal itself. It doesn't really do nothing. What happens is brake fluid is what do they call it? Hydroscopic, I think that's what it's called, meaning it absorbs water. So the water, over the long term, the water will be the thing that's actually the corrosion factor that introduces the corrosion. Okay, so I've got a little brake fluid right here in this area. So later on, when I put this all back together, I'm gonna splash water here just to rinse off all that fluid. Same with this area here. Once I put everything back together and everything's good, so I'll close that. I'm gonna rinse this whole area with water, so that way I basically rinse it off the brake fluid. So this side, it's moving. There we go. It's not pretty tight, which is suspected. So I can see fluid dripping down right now. See the fluid dripping down. You can see some of that fluid right there. See that? That's not good. Shit, it's getting over my rims. I need to rinse the rims too. So here's the banjo bolt. Oh, excuse me, the banjo washer. It's a sealing washer. There's the banjo bolt. Sealing washers, how they work is when you tighten down the bolt or the nut, and the sealing washer basically crushes, it deforms basically, and it deforms into the shape of the mating surface. That way, that's how it seals. And so sealing washers are usually soft metal, so it's usually copper or even aluminum. Got brake fluid right here. That's not good. Not good. Let me wipe that off as much as I can. Later on, I'm gonna have to wash this rim. Same with the caliper right here. Later on, I'm gonna have to wash this area. It's all that brake fluid. It's not good for paint. It'll eat paint. Okay, so now we just need to feed the hose down. Feed the hose down. Okay, and the hose is out. So there's no fluid, not much fluid in the hose. Set that aside. Okay, so we're good there. So that's it. That's taking off the bleeding it out and taking it off. So next video is going to be putting it together, or putting the new line together. So stay tuned.